Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far. So today I have the day off and I have so many things that I need to plan for next week and for next month. So I thought I would sit down and get organized today since I have some time to do that, and I thought I would film it so you guys can kind of see how I get organized. I do this about 1 to 3 times a month where I sit down and go through all of my planners, my journal, and really plan things out for the next couple weeks or the next month. It kind of depends what I have going on. So I'm just gonna go through my normal routine and along the way kind of explain how I set things up for the next month and what I like to do to feel more organized. When I'm gonna sit down and have an organization session, I like to enjoy it as much as possible. So I like to set the mood, light my candles, get a beverage of some sort, and I usually have a video, a podcast, or some sort of meditation playing in the background so I can really get cozy and enjoy my alone time. So I've got my candles lit, I've got my iced coffee ready to go, and I'm gonna sit here for probably an hour or so and go through my agenda, do a little bit of journaling, and just make sure that I'm completely set up and ready to go for the next couple weeks. Okay, so starting with my A5 size agenda, I'm just gonna go through and plan out the next week, the next month, and I am gonna make a daily plan for today. Okay, so I'm using the daily plan inserts from Infinite Lotus. These are my favorite dailies. So I'm just gonna add the date up at the top. I'm gonna set up my priorities for the day. I either put in my top 5 tasks or the top 5 things that I have on my mind. So that's what I'm doing here, and then I'm just gonna make a quick outline of my schedule for the rest of the day and create a task list to work from. And as I complete things, I'll just check them off my task list. Otherwise, I try to make a habit of revisiting my plans later that day, probably around like 7 or 8 o'clock, to check off things or reschedule anything that I didn't get to. So now I'm gonna start planning my monthly overview for September. I'm using the Infinite Lotus monthly overviews, and these are the updated style, and I love the updated version of this layout. So I'm just gonna start by adding in some transparent dot stickers over important dates. These are from the planner spot. And then in the important dates section, I'm gonna actually list out those dates and then write in the events that I have, whether it's an appointment, a meeting, a commitment. I usually like to write those down in the important dates section. And I'm also going to add in my top 3 monthly priorities. This just kind of sets the tone for the month. If I have a big event, I'll go ahead and write that. Otherwise, just things that I want to keep in mind for the month. And then if I have additional tasks that I need to add for that month, I'll put those in the to-do section, but I don't have any off the top of my head, so I'm just gonna leave that blank. That way, the first week of September or mid-September, I can add those in as I need to. I don't wanna take up too much space. So now I'm gonna move on to my weekly section. I have a couple things to update in this section, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do that now. So this is this week, but I wanna make a plan for next week. So I already have a few things in here that I know I have going on this week, but I'm going to add in a few more appointments that I made. So on Monday, I have a 10 a.m. meeting. 10 a.m. meeting. And then I'm gonna try to get as much as I can done that day. So I'll probably have a daily page for the rest of my tasks for Monday. But I also have an appointment at 3 o'clock. So that's all I'm gonna add in for now, and then once Monday rolls around, if I have some extra things that I really need to add to my weekly section, I will. Tuesday, I just have like my work hours here, and then a couple things I wanna do. Wednesday is the first day of our move, so we have a few things that we have to do the first day. And I'm hoping to set up the office at the new apartment on Wednesday when we are able to move in, either Wednesday or Thursday. So depending on whenever we're actually fully moved in, I'll be able to resume my normal like office stuff. But I am taking these days off because I don't actually know when I'll be able to get back in there. But Friday I should be good to go. So Friday I have another meeting at 10 a.m. So I'm just gonna add that in right away. 10 o'clock a.m. And then I also have a round of revisions. And then we're gonna move all of our furniture and the rest of our stuff on Sunday. So this is like our official move day. And we rented the U-Haul from, I believe, 12 o'clock to about 5 o'clock, give or take. I don't remember the exact hours we have it, but I'm just gonna go ahead and put that in there because that's our main moving window. We're moving about 45 minutes away, so it's gonna take us some time to go back and forth. But we have the full day essentially to do that. Plus we have our cars after that, so if we can just move the furniture early in the day, that's probably best. And then later that night, we should be completely fully moved in. So we're gonna have to organize and settle in because we should be completely moved in. And I'm also gonna do a deep clean by 10 o'clock because I'm sure we'll be tired. So I like to set up my week beforehand if possible. So if I know if I have meetings, appointments, or deadlines or anything like that, I try to put those in as soon as possible. So I went ahead and just added those in where I know I have things going on. And then if I have, specific tasks for certain days, I'll try to go ahead and add those in right away. So like Wednesday and Sunday are 2 big moving days. So I have a pretty good plan for what those days are gonna look like. But I like to leave enough room. So by the time we get to this week, I have plenty of space to add. I can cross things out if I get things done or check them off. And I still have plenty of room to plan out my day depending on what actually happens. If we actually get our office set up on Wednesday, or if we have to wait till Friday or Sunday, better to just leave that blank if you don't know, and that way you don't have to cross anything out in your planner. You can just go ahead and update it later once that week rolls around. But now that I have the next couple weeks almost completely planned out, I'm gonna move on to my moving checklist. So I'm gonna make a personalized DIY checklist on Canva, and you can apply this to DIY planner inserts or accessories, things that you wanna add to your planner. But I'm just gonna start with a custom size that I think will fit nicely on my clipboard. And you can follow these templates that are provided on Canva, but I'm just gonna start adding text to a blank slate because I kind of know how I want to organize this already. So I'm adding in a moving checklist title, and then I'm also going to add in some other titles. I'm going to do a move out checklist, a move in checklist, and then I'm also going to add a to do and to buy list. And the reason that I'm making this checklist on Canva versus just writing it down on a piece of paper is that one, I have some extra time today, so I wanted to use that time to make a really neat, comprehensive, cohesive list of things I have to get done. And two, I just feel like it helps me feel more organized if I have something that's typed up and printed out. It feels so specific to me, but it also feels more structured. I'll also do something like this for tax time to organize my tax information, like my financial stuff. I also like to make things on Canva for my planner, like my planning routine. I don't know, it just really helps me to type everything out, print it out, have something that looks really nice, and that I can go back and reference. So basically, I'm just adding in text and moving things around as I fill up space to just organize it a little bit better. If you're new to Canva or if you're not familiar with the features of Canva, on the left-hand side, you have templates that you can go through, elements like shapes and lines and things like that. You can upload your own imagery. You have text. I have logos. I have the business account, so I use this for a lot of my Maddie Plan stuff. Anytime that I make a thumbnail or a graphic, I'm usually using Canva. I do sometimes use Adobe, but I prefer Canva because I feel like it's a more creative, fun space, and Adobe just feels very cumbersome to me. I'm still learning it, but I just prefer Canva for making quick projects like this one. And you can use the toolbar at the top of the screen to change the font type, the size. You can change the color, the arrangement, add bullet points, effects, or animations. I'm just keeping this super simple because I'm just quickly making this list to work off of for next week. But if you really want to make something cool for like a school project or for your planner even, you can definitely do that in here. So now that I have the majority of my list ready to go, I'm going to start adding in some bullet points. So I'm going to elements, I'm going to shapes, and then I'm finding a checklist shape that I think is going to look really good with this. I like a circle or a square with a hollow inside. So that's what I'm choosing here. I'm going to change the color to black to match the text. And then you can grab the corners and scale it down. And then I'm going to add bullet points for each of my tasks. There's probably a much easier way to do this, but I'm just creating as I go. So you'll see that there are those pink lines, those pink dotted lines. Those are there to help you align everything correctly. And you can also highlight a group of images or text. You can group them together, you can duplicate them. And that's what I'm doing here to add the second set of bullet points to the other checklist. Okay, so I pretty much have the top of my insert or my checklist ready to go. I'm just going to add in some lines now, so I'm going back to the Elements tab and I'm going to grab a basic line shape. I'm going to scale it down and kind of make sure it fits into my checklist really nicely, and I'm going to put one under each of the titles. And once I get the first line the way that I want it to look, thinned out and the perfect size, I'm just going to duplicate that and put one under each of the titles. For the to-do list and to-buy list, I'm going to be leaving those blank, so I'm just grabbing those checklist dots and I am positioning them, tidying them up, and just putting a stack below the to-do list and the to-buy list. And then I'm also going to add in some lines so I can write down my to-dos and my to-buys. By the way, I am not a Canva expert by any means. I learned all of this just through playing around with it and through tutorials. And I can do a tutorial more specific to planner inserts or dashboards in the future if you guys want. But hopefully this just gives you kind of an idea of how I make my projects in Canva. But of course, there are other tutorials and resources for finding really good tips. And one of those is a class on Skillshare that I just wanted to quickly mention if you guys are interested. It is called Social Media Content Creation in Canva, and it has a ton of different video lessons that you can go through from beginner to advanced topics. And the class is taught by Maggie Stara, who is a digital marketer and a top teacher. So if you're looking for more resources for your small business or your hobbies, this is a great one to check out. And you can try it out for free. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to sign up with the link below will get a free 1-month trial. And Skillshare is curated specifically for learning, so there's no ads. There's always new premium classes that you can explore. So if you've been thinking about joining, definitely take advantage and use the link down below to get your free trial. So I'm almost done. I'm just adding in some final details. I added the year at the top, and then I'm also going to put in those lines for my to-do list and my to-buy list, like I said, so I can write in those tasks. And then I'm pretty much done. I'm just going to add my logo, place it, make sure everything is aligned correctly, and then I can go ahead and export and print it out. So once your design is finalized, you can go ahead and export. So you'll go up to the purple bar at the top and click download. And once you do that, a drop-down menu will pop up and you can select your file type. You can put on crop marks if you want. That's a really good idea if you're going to be printing inserts, so you can get the exact measurements. But if you're just printing out a sheet of paper, you don't necessarily need the crop marks. So once you download it, you can go ahead and print it. Whenever you print, especially for inserts, you're going to want to make sure that your scale is set to 100% so it prints in the correct size. And then just go ahead and print, and we are all done. So here is my checklist. It's ready to go. I'm just going to trim it up a little bit. So I'm going to cut on these crop marks. So this will get it to be exactly the 7x10 size that I selected. So you're going to want to line up the cut mark with the crop line and then just go ahead and cut your paper. If you're adding this to your planner, then of course you're just going to add your hole punch and then you're done. I'll leave a link below for some of the tools that I use. I have another piece of paper that's going to go behind the checklist with our move-in specifics of where we pick up our fobs and things like that. So I made the checklist a little bit smaller so I could see that information. It's on the bottom of the page that's going to go behind this. And I was going to leave the to-do list and the to-buy list blank, but I just thought of some things that I should add right away. So I'm just going to do that now so I don't forget. Okay, so now I'm completely done. I can set this aside for next week. I have everything planned out, ready to go, and I can focus on some other tasks. Okay, and finally, I'm going to sit down and do a journal entry in my new journal. You guys, I am obsessed with this journal. Let me show you it really quick and then I'm gonna go into what I've been using it for. So this is the one I was using before. It's from Target and I really like the size. The only thing that I don't really care for about this journal is a soft cover. So I felt like it was just getting really bent up and it didn't really look as nice as it did before, but it also has a different style layout. So it has a blank section and it has a lined section at the bottom. And I really liked this when I got it because I wasn't super into journaling, but I really got into it once I started to do it more. And so I wanted to have a different style of journal that was just 1, a hardcover, 2, had a bookmark, and 3 was just all lined paper. So I saw this one online and I bought it because first of all, I love the cover. This is a Desmond and Dempsey journal. I think this was like $20 to $30, somewhere in that range. But you can customize the text. So I put in my little saying, dream, plan, manifest. I also have that in my planner. And then down at the bottom, you can also add your initials and you can pick a color. So I chose yellow for a little bit of a pop of color, but I really like the style of it. It's so simple, so basic, but it really allows you to fill up a lot of space in the journal. I like that the lines go all the way from one end to another. But let me show you what a couple of my pages look like. I don't do any decorating in here. It's just strictly writing and journaling. So I got this a couple weeks ago. So my first entry was on the Lionsgate portal on August 8th. So I was super excited about that. And I really liked starting off this journal with such a positive message. The messages I got were just amazing, really inspiring and uplifting. So I just wrote for pages and pages. And I try to write in here every single day. If I have ideas or inspiration or just things that I want to get off of my mind, I go ahead and write them in this journal. I also have been doing gratitude, affirmations, manifesting, all of that type of stuff, and I am super into it. Like I said, I was never into it before. I don't know why, I just never really tried it, but ever since I got into it, I don't know, I've just been really liking it. It's been really positive for me, and it's helped me to feel more motivated and inspired and just have better energy overall. But I usually try to start my morning with a journal entry. I like to set the intention for the day and start my day off on a positive note. So I have a journal and manifestation prompt list. I also made that on Canva, so if you guys are interested in that, I'll leave a link for it down below. You guys can just download it or print it and use it if you want to. But I have one printed out on my desk, and so I use that as a guide if I don't know where to start that morning. But other days, like today, I'll listen to some sort of YouTube video or podcast or like like a meditation that's really inspiring and motivating, and I just like to write down my goals or new thoughts that I'm having, new ideas. There's something so therapeutic about writing down your ideas and emotions. I feel like that really helps me process everything because of the time that it takes to put my thoughts into writing on paper. So sometimes you just have to get everything out of your head onto paper so you can recharge, process, and move forward in different areas of your life. Anyways, that is it for me today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you got some organizing done as well. I feel so much better now that I have everything planned out for the next couple weeks, and I'm so excited to finally see our new apartment in a couple days. We haven't seen it, so hopefully we like it when we move in. So wish us luck, but I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day and a great week ahead of you, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!